welcome to Mountain Valley Today. Today we've got our special guest, Mr. Red Taylor, and he is on the City Council in Fort Payne, and he's seeking re-election. I think this will be your third term if you get re-elected. Is that correct?
In my second term now, yes, and I'm running for the third term.
Okay. Well, tell us just a little bit about your family, about you and your family, and.
Well, I am Red Taylor. Lived in Fort Payne since 1971. Raised my family there. Married a local girl in 1974, Marilyn Puckett. She's a nurse. Worked for years as a nurse at the Cab Hospital. I have 3 children. I have my oldest is a son, Derek Taylor. He is an Alabama State Trooper. Has been with them for, well, it'll be 20 years in October. And my other son is Jeremy Taylor. He's one of our circuit judges here in DeKalb County. He serves DeKalb and Cherokee County as a circuit judge. And my daughter is Andrea Woodall. She works at the DeKalb County Sheriff's Office. I have 6 grandchildren. Derek had 2 girls and 2 boys. He's got Autumn and Brindley and 2 boys, Caden and Emerson. Jeremy has a son, Bryson, and Andrea has a son, Tristan. So I have 3 children and 6 grandchildren, wow. 4 boys and 2 girls.
That's great. I tell you, those grandchildren,
man,
you can't beat them, can you?
They're great. And that's really what this is all about.
Oh, absolutely,
I mean,
absolutely.
It's not about me. I'm old enough now. I'm retired. I spent 31 years as Alabama State Trooper, and I retired. And my retirement is made, but it's about making sure everything is better, I think, for my children and grandchildren.
Oh, absolutely.
Especially the grandchildren.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what, to me, that's what it's all about too. You know, we want to see our communities grow and to be better for our children, and prosper for our children and grandchildren.
I'd like to leave it better than what it was whenever I come here.
Oh, absolutely. And you know, and I know if you're like me, the one of the things you want to see is, you know, job opportunities in this area so our kids won't have to move out of this area.
That's
and our
exactly
grandkids,
right.
And maybe they can stay close to home so we can take care of those grandkids and great grandkids or whatever. So
I'd like to see some good, high-paying jobs here. As everyone knows, about 8 or 9 years ago, when Gildan decided to move out of Fort Payne, there was a lot of jobs lost. And we have gone through the deepest recession probably during that period of time that we have seen in probably the last 40 or 50 years. But being on the council, we managed to tighten our budget. We had to do some cutbacks. We didn't lay anyone off. Of course, we have some people that might quit or retire or whatever that we didn't replace, but we didn't actually have to lay anyone off. And just physical responsibility, we have managed to come through it without raising our taxes and in good shape. In fact, this year we had a $450,000 surplus in our budget, great. And we was able to give the schools an additional $100,000 in funding. And of course, I would like to see that increased more. Maybe this coming year we can do more. But talking with Jimmy Durham, the Economic Development Director, during the last 8 years I have been on the City Council, we've created 1,862 new jobs.
Wow.
And that doesn't include service and retail.
Yeah.
And that's, you know, a lot of jobs have been created by that. And a lot of that is plasma. We got plasma in the Fort Payne. And while I was here, the children's place has expanded. Gas House has expanded and added jobs. Siemens has done a lot of upgrade. They've added jobs. We got the aquatic place on the old Layla Ella building on Godfrey Avenue. That's brought in several jobs, and we had a lot of other small businesses that opened, these 10, 12, 20 jobs. Yeah. I would love to see get a big plant or something in here, manufacturing job that would hire 400 or 500 people.
Right.
But, you know, those are few and far between, and if we can get these smaller jobs coming in and assist our local people into expanding, then then, you know, that works too.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, tell
Uh,
us. I know you've been on council now for 8 years, and I guess the first question I would want to ask you is what was the reason you decided to get into politics 8 years ago?
Well, really, it's about taking care of the people of Fort Payne. I would like to be the voice of the people in Fort Payne because I think they need someone on the city council that will look out for them. And that's one of the reasons that I oppose going up on the sales tax. There's people in Fort Payne that cannot afford going up on the sales tax. Their sales tax is 8%, and we have people that's, you know, some people could afford to pay it without a problem if we went up 1 cent on it. But there's some people that cannot afford to pay it because they're having to choose every month between buying groceries and medicine. And that was the people that it would hurt the worst. Now, the city is not in the shape where it has to have it.
Right.
Because we have, like I said, $450,000 surplus this year in the budget. And due to us tightening our belt and fiscal responsibility, we're in good shape financially. All of our obligations are being met. And what a lot of people probably don't know and haven't heard, years ago, before I was ever on the city council, the city did a bond issue for a sewer plant upgrade. And we're paying $750,000 a year to service the bond issue. Well, that pays off in 2018. So that's going to free up an additional $750,000 for the city to have to do other projects with. So therefore, you know, the city can survive and get by fine without going up on the sales tax. If it was absolutely necessary, if we was having trouble meeting our obligations and servicing our debt, then yes, I would have voted for a tax increase. But under the circumstances, I was opposed to the tax increase. Now, we need to fund the schools, and I feel that the schools are being funded properly. We have a great school system. We got the tech program going on up there, and the tech program equals jobs.
Oh, absolutely.
Because we got the robotics going on, and that's the thing of the future, the robotics. And we have the tech program, like I mentioned, and the Fort Payne City Schools, every classroom has a smart board in it now. And that is great. And all the students, even the majority of the students in elementary school, all of them in junior high and high school, and the majority of the students in elementary schools have iPads.
Yeah.
Well, that's getting them used to using computers and getting them, preparing them for the future.
Right. Yeah, and I just noticed in just over the last few weeks, you know, they have got into they're doing their own TV shows now and doing production and editing and all those other things, which is a great thing too. So.
I went up for the groundbreaking, or I don't know, it wasn't groundbreaking, or whatever you want to call it, wherever they kicked off the TV show, and that's a great asset. They also have a real nice culinary program up there. Got a great culinary school.
Yeah, well, Fort Payne school system is, you know, I've been very impressed with what's going on, and very impressed what's going on in Fort Payne. You know, like you said, with the loss of all of the jobs from the sock mill industry, and it seems like you guys just, you know, have stepped in and replaced a lot of that, and really hadn't missed a beat, per se. You know, I know it's been hard, and like you said, you know, you've had to make some adjustments, but, you know, y'all have done a fantastic job of keeping things, you know, moving in the right direction. So I guess, you know, one of the things we would talk about, you know, I know you've been on for 8 years now, and I'm sure there's some accomplishments that you guys have done over the past 4 years, or maybe over the past 8 years. So talk to us a little bit about some of the things y'all have done, you know, in the city that you're the most proud of.
Well, one thing, we have partnered with the Main Street program. The city of Fort Payne was designated as a Main Street city, and we have partnered with that and working on the downtown part, making it look better. And we have managed to change out the lighting in downtown, which I think could really help a lot, the appearance of it. I would like to see the Main Street program expanded from just the main part downtown, from, like I said, expanded from the south wide to the north wide to take care of all of that area. But mention the LED lights, that's another thing, example of saving money. The street lights in Fort Payne, and you may or may not know this, but costing the city of Fort Payne $750,000 a year just for the street lights. And the way it works is the Fort Payne Improvement Authority owns the street lights, and they charge us an investment fee, which is just another way of saying rent. We're paying rent on the street lights in Fort Payne plus the utility bills. Well, we got to looking at it because LED lights are so much more efficient and cheaper to operate, and we got to looking at that. And we had some outside companies come in and make proposals to change it all over to LED lights, and the city owned the lights. So therefore, we wouldn't have to be paying an investment fee. But $1.92 million is what the price was going to be to go contract with this outside company. And we got to checking on it, and we had the Improvement Authority maintains the lights. If there's a problem with the light, then the Improvement Authority goes out and works on it and charges us for the repair on it. And we was paying that, which was part of the $750,000. But we could own the lights, and the Improvement Authority, if they got a call on the light being bad, instead of repairing the old one, while they was there, they would just replace with a new LED light. So that's what we're doing. Plus we got a crew from the Public Works Department that's trained and can change out lights. And with contracting with an outside company was going to run, the payback on it was going to run 12 to 15 years. By us doing it in-house and taking care of it ourselves, the payback on it is going to be 4 to 5 years.
Wow.
So we're going to realize about $200,000 a year savings on the lights, the utilities, and not having to pay rent on the street lights anymore. So that's going to save us an additional $200,000.
Right, and that's big. That's a lot of money.
Well,
for
it
a
adds
town.
up.
Yes, absolutely, it sure does. Well, I know one of the things that I think I've read about just in the last few weeks is y'all had purchased the old MAPCO building there on the corner of 35 and Highway 11, I believe it is there, right at the city park.
Yes, sir. That's right across the street from the coal and iron building. It's between the Fort Payne Depot and Galt Avenue, and right across the street from the city park. And really and truly, for whatever reason, MAPCO has just let it go down. They haven't done anything to painting or anything, and in personal opinion, it looks just like a eyesore is what it is, right there in the middle of town. And this is not something that just come up. We was working on this 6 years ago when Bill Jordan was the mayor of Fort Payne. We was trying to buy it then, and we wasn't able to, but since then, we have negotiated and reached an agreement with MAPCO for us to purchase the property. Initially, it will probably be a parking lot. But I have reached out to some friends of mine in Montgomery that has contacts with developers that could possibly put something in there that would fit and match the other parts of downtown, where it would look real nice. And that's what we're hoping for.
Well, and that, y'all have done some great improvements in the downtown area. Every time I drive through, it seems like y'all have added something or upgraded something, and I know that will be just another asset for the city there.
That's right. We have added on to the parks. We have constructed and completed the Alabama Walking Park. Of course, there's still some upgrades that need to be done to it. The Kiwanis Pavilion, I think that's a good addition to downtown. Absolutely. The Patriots Park
Yes.
which is across the road from the Kiwanis Pavilion. I think that's just in the process of getting up and running. And I think you really see it take off whenever we get to the point where we can finalize the monuments and get ready to sell the bricks. And I think when it comes around that we can start selling the bricks and be getting a lot of revenue in from that, and I think it'll go pretty quickly.
Yeah, I know. Talking about the coal building there across the road, my son got married in May, and we used that building for his reception.
Yeah.
That is a great facility.
It's a
And
beautiful building.
If people hadn't came out and saw that building and,
Yeah.
and all the uses for it, I
Right.
mean, they need to go check that out because it really is a very nice building.
It is. Well, and we've got other buildings.
Oh, absolutely.
Older, the Quinn building
Yes.
there at the corner of First and Galt is a real nice old building that would look great restored. And so is the Sawyer building,
Yeah.
which is at Fourth and Galt. I mean, there's several older buildings down there that would be real good candidates to be restored.
Oh, absolutely. Well, I know just a couple of weeks ago, y'all had your boom days down in Fort Payne, and that's always a big thing for the Fort Payne area, and of course, just tourism in general. So tell us a little bit about boom days and just the tourism, in general in the Fort Payne area.
Well, the tourism, Boom Days is just a heritage festival. I mean, it's just celebrating the heritage of Fort Payne, and it's another way to bring people out. Bring people to town and get people in town and get them looking and looking around and it bring tourists into Fort Payne. Little River Canyon, Jacksonville Field School. I saw read a thing in the paper the other day where Governor Bentley had presented a grant to do a study at Little River Canyon and Jacksonville Field School about increasing the Jacksonville Field School. And in his article about the grant, they've estimated 200,000 visitors a year coming to that area out there with an economic impact of over $16 million a year. So tourism is just good, clean
Oh, absolutely,
money.
yeah.
I mean, the people coming and spending money and leaving, and that's great. It's bringing it into the area, and it helps.
Absolutely.
And you turn that money over
Oh, yeah.
about 6, 7 times, it adds up to quite a bit of money.
Absolutely. Well, and you talk about tourism, and and I guess we take it for granted our area because we live here,
That's
and we
exactly
don't
right.
realize how beautiful. But we have
right.
a lot of people that comes here for vacations,
It-
and DeSoto State Park, and like I said, Little River Canyon, and just Fort Payne area and all. But it's just it's a beautiful area. We take off and go up to the Smoky
Sure.
Mountains, and we probably have an area that's just as beautiful as the Smoky Mountains.
That's exactly right. And it's becoming more and more of a tourist destination.
Yeah.
And I mean, every year you have more and more people coming just as a destination instead of going to Gatlinburg and Pigeon Forge and getting into all that traffic. They'd rather be in Fort Payne at a slower pace and less traffic, and it's becoming a tourist destination. I would also like to see it become a retirement destination.
Yes.
I would like to have we have it now. We're having people moving out of other places. We're having people moving out of Florida. We're having people moving from up north to this area in Fort Payne, not necessarily in the city limits of Fort Payne, but just in this general area.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. And I like to see it become more of a retirement destination.
Oh, absolutely. It was very interesting to me. We had John Dersham, who is is over the Tourism Association, and he came out and did a show, and and he was telling us the story how he wound up here, and basically he retired and moved to this area, because it was so beautiful, because they had been through and saw it, and just to be able to come back here and move back to this area and live here, and now he is the tourism director,
and does a great job.
Does a great job. But some of the statistics that he had given me about the economic impact of tourism was just amazing to me. You just don't realize what an impact it's making in this area until you start looking at those numbers. So,
it's huge whenever you get to figuring all them numbers, and John does a good job of tracking all of that,
absolutely.
and has just a wealth of information on tourism.
Sure.
coming in here. It's just it's growing every year.
Oh,
Getting
absolutely.
bigger and bigger every year.
Yeah. Well, I know we've talked about, you've talked about some of the things that's going on in Fort Payne. What are some things that you would like to see, going forward in
Yeah.
Fort Payne? Some things that you would like to see accomplished over, if you're reelected, what's some things you would like to see done over the next 4 years, maybe?
Yeah. Well, one thing that we have done, we have managed to get some tenants to purchase the old Kmart building and that property there, and I think that has helped that area tremendous. At the Kmart, old Kmart building and Dunham's, and I mean it was another place that just really looked bad. You get off the interstate, and right there off the side of the interstate is a closed up shopping center, with abandoned shopping center. But with the people purchasing old Kmart building and Dunham's and other businesses going in there, now Applebee's is fixing to locate right in front of Dunham's, which will be a great asset to that area. But along with that brings all the additional traffic.
Yes.
And we have a problem with Airport Road and Jordan Road, which intersects with Highway 35. They're a little bit offset, and Airport Road, where you enter 35, has some turn lanes. There's no turn lanes coming off of Jordan Road, which comes out from the sheriff's office and Lowe's, and that kind of a bottleneck.
Yeah,
right there.
It's been amazing to me. If I go down, in the afternoons between 4, 5, 6 o'clock, I told my wife the other night we were headed to Fort Payne. I said, I can't believe that Fort Payne has this kind of traffic now. I remember when there wasn't any traffic.
Yeah,
So.
and as more and more businesses build and locate out that way, it's going to increase traffic more.
Oh, absolutely.
But I would like to see that intersection realigned and some turn lanes put in off of Jordan Road, and we have contacted the state, and the state is aware of it, and they have done some studies on it, and of course, things takes a while. They don't happen quickly. That's
right.
One thing you have to realize in city, county, or state government, it doesn't happen quickly.
Yes.
But it is in the works. Also on the other end of Airport Road, where it joins US Highway 11, we need a traffic signal there, because you've got US 11 going northbound. It's going from 2 lanes into 1. It has a turn lane there on Airport Road, and that can get bottled up especially if you're trying to turn left off of Airport Road on US 11. That's one area I've talked with Representative Ledbetter, and that is in the works there. But like I said, it doesn't happen quickly. And back to 35 and Airport Road, I understand we have quite a good company that's looking at buying the old Ryan's property, and that will create a lot more traffic.
Oh, absolutely.
Out there in that area, if that comes through, and they are managed to buy that and managed to locate there, it would be a great asset to the whole area, but that would increase traffic even more.
Oh, absolutely. When you talk about the traffic, but that is a good problem to have, because that's
it
just,
sure is.
all these people traveling through Fort Payne and in that area, and stopping and buying gas and spending their money at the restaurants and just, and at Walmarts and all the different places, Dunham's, and so that's a great problem to have too. So, I know you were talking about our representatives, and I know, locally we have to work. One thing we know is cities can't do everything by themselves. Sometimes they have to ask for help.
That's
and
exactly.
so we've got a great senator and a great House of Representative here locally.
Yes.
And so what your thoughts are? I know you probably have already been working with them, but working with our representative and our senators to bring more money into Fort Payne.
Well, Steve Livingston and Nathaniel Ledbetter is just great to work with. They're always very responsive to whatever we propose to them, if it's any way they can. Of course, like I said, there's not anything that happens quick.
Absolutely.
I mean, it takes a process, and it takes a good while to get it done. But I have a real good relationship with Senator Livingston and Representative Ledbetter, One thing we have in store, we're receiving a $350,000 grant to upgrade our sewer system. We've also, in the process, and probably going to be sometime next year, during paving season, they're going to pave Highway 11, US 11 North, between 45th Street and where the paving stopped this year.
Yeah.
They're going to fill that in there and get a new paving going there.
Right. Yeah, that's great. One thing I know that we haven't mentioned that I think is a great asset to the downtown area of Fort Payne is the farmers market.
Yeah.
You know, and we hadn't talked much about that, but the farmers market in Fort Payne is huge.
We actually have two farmers markets in Fort Payne. On I believe it's Tuesdays and Fridays. They have a farmers market at the VFW, and now then the Main Street program has opened a farmers market downtown at 4th and Galt North, next to Southern Properties, between Southern Properties and the Alabama statues and the park. They having a farmers market there on Saturday mornings, and they have produce, and they have some arts and crafts and stuff like that, and it's something taking off. And another thing that we haven't mentioned is the Halloween block party.
Yeah.
If you haven't been to a Halloween block party, you need to try to make an effort this year to go to the Halloween block party, because we block it off from like 1st to 5th Street. All the merchants are open, giving away candies and treats, and it's just great to go down there and see just the street full of children, all dressed up in their Halloween costumes, and people coming to the area and enjoying the downtown, and it's just a great atmosphere, and everyone just having a ball and having fun. And
Oh yeah. Well, Mr. Taylor, we're just about out of time, but one thing I would like for you to do, you know, I know people that are maybe watching our show, and you know, they're trying to decide who they want to put back in, you know, who they want to elect for the Fort Payne City Council. And so just look at the camera and tell those folks why they should re-elect you on the Fort Payne City Council.
Well, I certainly appreciate having the opportunity to serve 2 terms on the City Council, and I would like the opportunity to serve one more term. I like to be the voice of the people, for the people. I meet with anyone. Call me anytime. My number is published. Its cell phone is 256-996-2378. I'm available to the public. If anyone has any questions or comments or anything, I like to be the voice of the people in Fort Payne and do what is right for the city and what is best for the people.
Oh, absolutely.
And anytime, just give me a call.
Yeah. Well, we sure do appreciate you coming out and spending some time with us this morning. And again, we thank you so much for joining us this morning. And, you know, you can tune in at MtnValleyNewspaper.com. You can also listen on WFPA, and we sure do appreciate you tuning in this morning. And we thank Mr. Red Taylor for coming out and sharing his visions of this, you know, for the Fort Payne City. And again, we thank you so much, and we look forward to seeing you again.
Thank you.